All right. Super excited about tonight. Hey, welcome to Fireside Chats. And today I have special guest Olu. I'm not even gonna try to say your last name. I'll let you say your last name because I'll just mess it up. And then you won't be upset with me. You'll give me some grace, but why even try, right?
Yeah, not at all. I'm all good, man. I told you I grew up in Ruston, Louisiana, so people saying my name wrong doesn't bother me anymore.
Oh, good, good, good. All right. So tonight, I was just telling we don't have a agenda other than we're just going to chop it up. We're going to have some fun. We're going to, talk about things that, are part of things that are in life. I will, ask a few questions, and then we'll see what happens. I mean, we could talk a little bit about AI and your children's books and all those wonderful things. I just got off of a podcast with a lady named Angela Lewis, and she just went through. She just wrote a children's book that she's going to have come out in March, and she was telling me all about the characters and the folks. But she's into basketball, so she was a professional basketball player. And if you guys want to go watch that on Living Boldly with Purpose, you can. But what a just a neat lady, this children's books. And I was explaining to her that I got to get my son involved in some of y'all doing these children's books because he works for Pixar. So
All right.
we got to we got to figure out how to get some movies out of these things or something. So it'll be super fun to be able to do. So why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself a little bit? Tell us what you do. I mean, I know what you do because we've done a podcast together already, but not everybody who's listening to us tonight know exactly what you do. And so why don't you go ahead and we'll start with the kind of an introduction, and then we'll just move on from there.
Yeah, absolutely. So, as you already alluded to, my name is Olaolu Ogunyemi. Most people call me Lou. I'm an officer in the Marine Corps, a major specifically. I'm the fifth of six children. I love telling that because I like to consider myself the runt, although my family will try to tell you otherwise. I truly am the runt, and I'm the only one who decided to join the Marine Corps. So, shout out to all the Marines out there who are watching. Just know that I was the runt of my family, so maybe you're the runt of yours as well. I'm just joking. But yeah, I had the opportunity to join later on. I graduated from Grambling State University, a member of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, while there at Grambling, and it's just been a phenomenal opportunity to serve the community and learn more from a lot of different people. So when I graduated from Grambling with a degree in computer information systems, before going active duty, I actually worked as a computer programmer and analyst at Tyson Foods, where I met some more phenomenal folks and had the opportunity to fall under the leadership of Donnie Smith at the time, who was the CEO, and learned a lot of good tips from him as a CEO. And I say that because he actually did talk to us one-on-one as interns and new hires. So there's things that I was able to learn from him and gather, even as that separation between us was vast when it came to the hierarchy. But he closed that gap very quickly. So been in the Marine Corps now, going on 13 years. Active duty. And again, it's just been a phenomenal opportunity to work with people, learn from people, and just grow with all the people I have the opportunity to work with. So, yeah, I have a wife and three children, 16-year-old girl, 7-year-old boy, or excuse me, 12-year-old boy, and a 7-year-old girl. So it's been fun. When I'm not working, when I'm not working in the Marine Corps, I'm back here dealing with and working with my children. So that's a lot about me. Shout out to Mr. U. A lot about me and all the things that I think everybody wants to know about me.
Yeah, well, thank you for sharing, and Mr. Yu, thank you for coming on because we welcome you every time that you get on the stage, and you guys are able to talk. So we'll just have some fun having conversation today. The first question I'll just ask both of you guys that what, Mr. Yu, I'll go ahead and since you're on, go ahead and introduce yourself so everybody here who knows who you are, and then I'll ask some questions. So.
Not to kill the mood, but I got a sick wife, so I can't hang out for so long. So I'm just
Okay.
going to jump in and support you guys and get back to being a caretaker. All right. But I'm Mr. U. I'm a high performance coach, podcaster, podcast consultant, minister, a whole bunch of stuff that I do. But the main thing I want to be known for is being a part of this incredible community and being a member of this. And I'm excited to be here with you guys and watch you guys grow. And all you guys watching this and Dr. B is the real deal, man. So follow this guy. He knows where he's headed, and I'm excited to be a part of this process with him. So good to see you all.
Yeah, thank you for coming on. And one of the things that's kind of cool that hopefully I'll get you guys is I'm doing a virtual event on next Saturday. Got 15 speakers showing up. It's called Becoming Through Action, and we're going to talk about goal setting in AI. And so that's going to be in January. But then in February, we're going to come back, and I'm hoping you guys will come in and be speakers at it. But it's going to be called AI Productivity Hacks Smart People Wish They Knew in January. So we're going to have some more speakers there. It's going to be a ball. But for those of you who are watching today and wanting to think about, well, hey, did I do all my goals right? Did I use AI right? Did I get it? So that's going to be fun. We're expecting to have a couple hundred people that are there. That we're going to have the way that I'm setting up is I'm going to have it where there's going to be 4 sessions. So we're only going to do 4 hours because I don't want to take everybody's all day Saturday for no reason at all, right? And we're going to do 4 sessions where there's 4 speakers that you can choose from in each of those sessions. Then the recordings will be done. If you go into the community, you'll be able to watch all the recordings from all the ones that you missed. And we're just going to have some fun putting together a whole bunch of really cool stuff. So why guys got you guys? One thing is, what are you guys most proud of in your life over that you've done so far, maybe over the last 5, 10? I mean, I don't want you to go all the way back to you as a kid, but what are you most proud of in the last 5 to 10 years that you could share with us that folks would want to know? And then we'll go into what are you most excited about. So,
you want to go first?
Yeah, go ahead, Lou. I'll let you go.
Okay, I'll jump in.
That's a Mr. Hugo because he might have to leave to go take care of his family. So,
what am I most proud of? Wow, that's a serious question. I love you. Come with the big guns right off the top. I think one of the things, and this is going to sound maybe a little bit cheesy, but I think I'm really proud of myself for pushing through adversity and continuing to keep going. I come from a place, and this is no slight to my hometown, but I come from a place, an environment where if things don't go right a certain amount of times, people just give up. They turn to drugs, they turn to gangs, they turn to depression, they turn to whatever, and they just give up. It's not instant. I guess kind of come from an entitlement kind of mindset, but it doesn't come right away or when they want it, people just give up. I have had multiple decades of adversity, and I'm still fighting. Sometimes I look at it, I say, wow, I don't know anybody that has done this in my life and in my relationship circles this long. I'm like, I'm still fighting this thing. I'm still here. So to me, that's a big deal, man. And it's really underrated, man. It's really underscored that, we're all gonna have adversity, but how we handle it is the measure of a man, I think. So I'm excited about watching myself. I'm not perfect, but I'm excited about myself fighting through this thing and not giving up when it's so easy to do so.
So good. Yeah. Oh my God. Thank you for sharing that, because it's just, I'm doing an anthology book. You guys both know that, where I'm putting authors that are putting a book. And I think the first book's going to be called Perseverance, where people get to tell their story about adversity and perseverance. And, what's one thing to have adversity in your life, it's another thing to go through it. I remember when I was younger and I would go through, I went to a Baptist church, when I first started, in high school and going to college. And at the front row, if you guys have been to the Black church, I am sure at some point in your life, and you have these ladies who sit in the first couple rows, and they have all the white on and they got their hats on, and they look like they are dressed to the T. They were going. And so I would always, go down and talk to them. And there was Miss Johnson, who always sat on the end. And I would say, "How you doing, Mrs. Johnson?" And she would say, going through it. And she said that like every week. And I started thinking, like, Miss Johnson, are you ever going to get through it? Is there ever going to be a time where you're not just going through it? Like, baby, I'm doing all right, just going through it. And I'm hoping that was just what she said. But I think about like all the adversity that we have in our lives and being able to go, wait a minute, what did we have to do? Or who do we have to get with? Or who do we have to partner with in order to get through it to the other side? And like you said, Mr. Yu, I'm still here, and all the things that we go through. So thank you for sharing that. Lou, what are you most proud of?
Yeah, that was beautiful, man. And I hate following up when people talk so beautifully. But first, I want to say shout out to Justin, man. How you doing? Thanks for tuning in. And then Albert, hey, it's great to hear from you, man. And yes, I'm still an active duty Marine. And congratulations on you being a year out from retirement. That's awesome. But what I'm most proud of, I feel like I'm obligated, just in case my wife and kids are watching, to say that I'm most proud of being a husband and father. There you guys go. That's your shout out for tonight. But aside from that, I'm very proud of deciding to make decisions in my life that truly changed the trajectory of my life. And of course, it's been more than 5-10 years since I joined the Marine Corps, but I use that as an example of all the things that I've had the opportunity to do were all almost like on the whim decisions. And if you ask my family and some of my close friends, one of them still tells me, man, you just make decisions on a whim. And I don't understand how you can do that. And he tells me some of them are the dumbest decisions you ever make. And it's a good friend of mine. I love him to death. But one of the things that I learned is that, sometimes you just have to go, when you feel that calling, you feel like you have to, you have something that you want to do. I truly believe that the thing that I'm most proud of is just going. When I decided I was going to join the Marine Corps, I was sitting in my room watching basketball and a commercial came on and I hit up the recruiter. I said, I'm going. Same thing when I decided to write children's books. I was sitting on the 5 in traffic and said, I want to be a children's book author. And so I just went, and same thing when I decided to write the next book and so on and so forth. And I think that's really what I'm proud of. And the lesson I've learned for myself is that if you have a dream, you just go. Don't hold back. Don't wait. Come up with a plan and just start executing the plan, because we all have an expiration date on this earth. And I think the best thing that we can do for ourselves is just go, just execute.
Oh my God, that's so good. And it kind of brings me in, or makes me think about like what energizes you right now. Like, okay, I've done this, and you just kind of said, hey, I just made a plan and it happened. And so, like, as we're recording this today, it's January 8th, I believe, in the year 2026, because you might be watching this in 2020, 30, I don't know. But there's so many people who are making plans right now, right? They decided they're going to the gym. If I were to go to gym tonight, there's going to be like, there's no machine is going to be open because everybody got off work and they made all these plans in order to, increase their year. So I would love to know is, when you're making these plans from both of you, like, how do you make sure you follow through? And then what is energizing you most about this coming year, or this coming decade, or 5 years, or whatever it is, that makes you want to keep going? So one, how do you do it? And then, like, personally, what are you guys doing right now that you're saying, hey, I can't wait for this to happen?
Oh, I think I understand the question correctly.
Okay.
Correct me if I don't. In regards to how I do it, how I plan, how I get set, one thing I tell some clients and people who I mentor, I got to get all the stuff that's going on in here out on paper.
Okay.
If I leave it inside here, it's cloudy, it's murky, it's subject to interpretation. When it's out on paper, it's out. Now I got to put a timeline to it. It's visible. And now it can be, it's under scrutiny now because people can see it. So I put it there intentionally to basically put pressure on myself to make sure I accomplish these goals. So I'm a big believer in writing everything out with timelines next to it to make sure I understand that, I can't just have these things all posted up my wall in my office. I got to have some plans and some activity and tangible action to go with it. And just try to stay accountable to that. My wife and I, we help each other with that kind of thing. Missed the second part of your question. I think
just what you're excited about now. The second part is what you're excited about this whole year. What, you put these plans together. What are they? What are you going to do?
I'm excited about a few things. I think one thing, just for the focus on the topic in this conversation, I'm excited about launching out into the deep a little bit more. When you get to be my age, and I'm not going to throw no numbers out here. When you get to be this age, I know Lou loves to kid me about that kind of stuff. When you get there, you kind of leaning towards security and stability. You don't want to do anything risky. I mean, ask somebody, about investment stock to be and stuff. People our age, they don't want to start messing around with nothing that could be dicey. They want to make sure it's solid and stable and it's sustainable for years to come. I'm in a different mindset when it comes to my life and the things that's on my goal card and that kind of stuff. And I'm ready to take a little bit more risk.
Mhm.
than I have before. Venture out into places that, you know what, I don't normally go these places. So I'm excited about venturing out. It's not a crapshoot for me. I know that, you know, I'm blessed and what I put my hands to is going to prosper. At the same time, I'm like, you know what, I got to venture out of my safe spaces and say, you know what, I got to trust a little bit more that what's inside of me is worth having, and kind of you know, launch out into the deep a little bit more. So that's kind of what will be happening in 26. You probably see some signs of it. Both of you will in times and days, weeks, and months to come. But that's where I'm at.
Oh man, that's so cool that you're saying, wait a minute, you know, and I'm 60 and I'm going, I can't wait for the next 12 years of my life to happen. Now, when I turn 80, we'll see if I'm still saying it. But right now, I'm like you, I'm like, hey, let's venture out, let's take some risks. Let's, you know, I can't imagine myself, you know, 10 years from now sitting in front with the TV tray in front of a recliner, watching some shows and passing my life by. There's just too much opportunity now. And maybe I want to talk about it a little bit, but I want to get into maybe some AI and some of the things that folks are doing, and what does that mean for, you know, our lives and what we're doing. But Lou, go ahead. How are you doing this when you're making your plans? And then what are you excited about?
Yeah, so one of my favorite people to watch on Instagram is called Lethal Shooter. And this
Okay.
guy, one of his quotes is, I understand it now. And this guy, what I watch him do, and the reason I love it is because this guy just doesn't miss. He's a basketball player, and the guy just doesn't miss shots. But the reason I enjoy watching him is not just for the entertainment of him making a bunch of shots. It's because he literally does the same thing over and over and over in the same way. And that's really a lesson I've learned. First thing when you're executing your plan, for me personally, it's finding those things that you can repeat over and over and becoming very good at doing those small things that lead towards your plan. That's really what it's all about. Steph Curry is another example of that. This guy can pull up from half court, he can pull up from a tunnel, and he makes it because he follows the same ritual every time, all the way down to the shoes that he wears in practice. It's sort of crazy when you think about it, but it's a lesson that I try to apply in my life. When I create a plan, it's like, okay, I'm going to break down these micro steps. And when I see something that's successful, I'm going to continue to repeat that over and over every single day until I achieve what I want to achieve. And then the second thing, and I think probably equally important, is to assign an accountability partner. And I always talk about that because you really do need somebody who's going to hold you accountable, who's going to at times beat you up when you need it, at times pick you up when you need it. But you have to have somebody in your corner who's fighting with you and pulling for you as you're trying to achieve your goal. So that's really for me how I'm able to execute my plan. After I write it down, you know, I talk about you know, plans being dope. You know, dream, you offload it like Mr. U was talking about. You plan and you execute. Well, the only way I can follow through those steps is having somebody who can support and hold me down, and that many times comes from my family. Now, what am I excited about? 2026. Number one, I'm launching a book with Amplify Publishing Group. It's called Lead Last. So very excited about this book that's coming out. Should be June of this year. One of the things that I've learned from having a publisher this time instead of self-publishing like the children's books is that you don't control the schedule as much as I would like to be in control. So I do like that Amplify Publishing Group's doing a phenomenal job of helping me work through the process, and I think that the product that we're putting out is going to be really good for emerging leaders. So that's what I'm excited about in 2026. And then going forward, it's just continuing to meet phenomenal people, not just outside the Marine Corps, but in the Marine Corps, across the entire military force, across the entire corporate and nonprofit world. It's just been a wonderful opportunity to meet people and network and continue to scale Parent-Child Connect.
Oh, so cool. I You two things that you brought up that were just, you know, I guess a must in 2026 and beyond is consistency.
Mm.
You know, and you think about the word consistency and what it means, and how we don't achieve the things that we want to achieve if we're not consistent. You know, you think about just somebody who's working out, you know, like, okay, I talked about all these people who are going to the gym right now. If they're not consistent over this whole year or over the next 6 months, they might look good in March for all the work they did in January, but if they don't stay consistent, they're going to be looking right back the way they did in December. You know, and it's so it's not necessarily easy to be consistent all the time, but it is so vital. And then you said the accountability piece, which I think is um, we try to do stuff our own. Like one of the things that I'm trying to make sure that I do this year is I don't want to do nothing by myself. I mean nothing. I mean, I have God and He's in there with me, but I don't even want it to just me and God together. I want it to be, if I'm going to help people get to where they want to be, then why am I trying to do all this stuff? My example is, oh, you doing it all by yourself. You doing everything. You're gonna put all the computer, whatever it is that people have been seeing me do all over these years. And that doesn't mean I'm not good at it or I can't do, but why would I? Why am I trying to do all this stuff all by myself? So when we think about consistency, what is like one or two things that you've been consistent? I know I'd asked you what you're most proud of, but now you brought that word up. It really made me start thinking of like, what am I that I could say, hey, I am an expert at being consistent at this, or I'm expert at this because I've been consistent. Is there one or two things that you guys have done consistently that has put you playing above the rim?
Yeah, I'll start. I'll say, first of all, wake up at the same time every day. And I know that sounds very, I guess, regimented. That's just so typical Marine thing for me to say. I get it. But wake up at the same time every day, and then budget your time first thing in the morning, dedicated to, for me, your physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual health. And so what that looks like for me, first thing I do is I wake up, I do my meditation, I do my prayer, then I do my devotion, and then I start writing. That writing time is for me to not just learn about myself, but to now explore and research and develop. And this is where a lot of my blogs come from, and a lot of my writing, even from the book Lead Last and any other book that I've written. It all comes from this opportunity to this that I spend in the morning writing, and it's a consistent habit that I've had. Then I go to the gym. And I go to the gym 6 days a week. I do the same schedule. I do my lifting for about 45 minutes, and then I do my cardio for about 30 minutes, unless for some reason I got stuck in traffic and I'm running behind. And I do believe that having that schedule and being regimented in that way, not only does it improve my physical and mental, emotional, spiritual health, but it also helps me to know that I have something that I can look forward to every single day. And it gives me a consistent place for me to do certain things. For example, if I'm going to pitch, let's say I'm on Podmatch, for example, and I want to pitch to people who I believe could be, I can feature on their podcast. Well, I know that there's going to be a 5-minute window every morning where I can sit down, read through some of these podcasts, and potentially pitch. And maybe I'll just study a couple of podcasts in that moment. But again, that's only because I have a set schedule. And I think that's really what it is. That consistency is what really pays off.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I mean, the same time every morning. Now, here's one of the things. I'll let you come over, Mr. in a second. But I decided, okay, because I'm not the person who was getting up every morning at the same time. So I said this year, because several people were asking me, they were saying, so what do you do with this routine that you do every single day that you make sure you're doing? And I would say, well, I do my devotional and I do my, the different things that I've been doing, but they're at different times. They're not at the same time. But I listened to you last time, Lou, and I'm like, okay, I got to get up at the same time because you done told me that like 4 or 5 times. So now I'm getting up at 6:30 every morning or 6 o'clock because I'm throwing my routine. I threw it live. So I started 8 days ago where I'm drinking water and I'm doing breathing exercise, and then I'm doing a gratitude session. I'm doing a short devotional. I'm doing some affirmations. I'm talking about keeping the promises to myself. So I just finished day 8 today, this morning. I'm doing a night routine as well, but I'm like, hey, I feel good after 8 days. Like I actually got up at the same time, did the devotional. Now I don't care if any of y'all watch it or not. It's live. But it's live because I want other people, if they want to follow me and do it. But it's more live, so I will do it. So I'm going to go all 365 days. You guys, you'll be up on there. Yeah, you talk to me next year on the 8th and see if I'm happy, because I'm taking like direction from Lou. I'm coachable at the speed of instruction. So, Mr. You, what about you?
Yeah, this is an unenviable task to follow this up today. But there's some things that Lou is doing that I've been doing for a while. One of them is not cardio.
Yeah, I'm not doing cardio either. I'm walking.
I'm just being honest about it.
Hey, that counts. Cardio is walking.
Yeah, I know. I'm walking, but I'm not. It's not every day at the same time. Just to be real about it. But one of the things I'm doing, it sounds weird even when I say it, but it's been invaluable for me as a person. I'm one of them A-type personalities, like the passion, the go, go, go. I know who I am. I'm pretty in touch with myself. Uh, One of the things that I've been learning probably in the past 6 to 8 months, maybe, is learning how to embrace the silence. Lou mentioned about the meditation time, and that was hard for me because for me, when I was growing up as a kid back in Brooklyn, silence was when all the monsters come out.
Mhm.
So I had to, I always had to have noise because I would be afraid of the lack of noise. So I always have a radio playing. Something would be going on. The windows open so I could hear the kids outside playing. Something got to be going on because the silence would be too scary because it's so quiet. Now I'm embracing that because that's when I get. It's not that I find my peace only in that, but I find peace in that. I find rest in that to a degree too. I get insights during that time because so many noises. I mean, stuff in our ears all the time. We listen to teleconference, like or a meeting like this one, or we listen to a podcast, or we're listening to the radio, whatever it is, or music, television. So many sounds, Pandora, so many things we're inundated with. That time is just nothing. No phone, no imagery before my eyes, nothing, just sitting there in it. And I learned so much stuff to take me through that day. I hear it in the silence. So I'm gonna have to embrace that. So that's my thing that I'm doing on a consistent basis, taking the time every day, whether if it's, even if it's only 5 minutes, whatever it is, just embrace the silence. Just sit with nothing and listen and hear, evaluate.
Oh man, I love that. And what you're saying is just like sitting with it and doing nothing and meditating. I know Lou, you do the same thing. So on my night routine, and you guys tell me if I need to move on. So there's this on YouTube. There's this lady named Cassandra who does these yoga things, and she has this nighttime routine that's like 15 minutes. And so the day one was kind of cool. I was doing some stuff, but it was like it was taxing me a little bit. Then we got to day two, and day two is it's called yin yin or something. I don't know if you ever, but you have to do the whole thing laying down on your back. I said I could do this one, so I've been doing day two for about 9 days because it's just laying there. But I mean, there's some stretches, but there's no like strength and that kind of stuff. But what I'm finding is, yeah, it's just the sitting and taking the time to, when you get up and I do my walks in the morning, and I usually am listening to something on podcast, or like you were saying, Mr. You, and there's like a couple of days where I didn't even put the headphones in. I'm just walking and enjoying. And Denver right now is kind of, you guys are in Florida, so I'm not used to this, but we're in the middle of January right now. And it was 75. I don't know, you probably saw the Bronco game the other night. It was like 75 degrees, in Denver. I'm like, I'd walk all day. But the morning it was snowing this morning. So I'm like, I got to go to the gym. I'm not going to go out here in this snow. But one of the things that now that I'm asking another question, if you guys want to say anything about the my yin yin, you might want to comment on my yin.
Well, I don't know anything about that. I'll be honest with you. But one of the things I think the silence is a very interesting concept because I think a lot of us have perfected it in some ways. And one of the things that I noticed, and as I talk to some of my friends, is that they're scared of silence. Right? There's a lot of things that you hear in silence that, quite frankly, it's like hearing your own voice. Sometimes it's scary to hear your own voice because you haven't dealt with that in a long time. So I do want to acknowledge that for those out there who do have that moment. You're scared for silence because you like to keep everything busy because there's things that potentially you haven't dealt with in a while, and I want to acknowledge that because I think that they're real. It's a real thing, and I've talked to many people who don't want to sit in silence. They don't want to uh, meditate. They don't want to think about what's going on. They'll rather keep going, going, going. The problem is, it's just like the old cartoon where you used to lift up the rug and sweep the dirt under it. At some point, that lump in the floor becomes obvious, and then it becomes unbearable. And so that's one of the things I just want to encourage people. If you can't stay silent for 30 minutes, some people do silence for an hour. You do a YouTube video laying on your back. If you can't do that, start with 30 seconds of silence, and continue to work through really finding that root cause, especially when I always advocate for counseling find that root cause that may cause you to be afraid of the silence. It's a real thing. So you're not unique in that regard, but try to get with your counselor and find that, because silence is important. Like Justin's saying, you get answers, clarity, and information where there's silence. But I think it's important for us to just know that, sometimes silence, when we're running from silence, there's something that we need to deal with that we can't overlook.
Thank you. That's so much. We got a couple comments on here. Justin said, "I get answers, clarity, and information where there's silence," and that's so true. And he says, "I've heard prayer is talking to God, meditating is listening to Him." Ooh, that's kind of cool. Yeah, I've heard prayer is talking to God, because we'll pray all day long if you ask Him, but meditating or just being silent in it and sitting in it is listening for Him to talk back to us. One thing you just brought up, Lou, that I think is super important, and I don't want to just gloss it over, is you talked about counseling or going to, somebody that you can talk to other than, the people that you normally are around. Because if you're sitting with something, the community that you have right now might not be the right community that's going to help you get out or move forward, because they're already part of who you are and what's happening. And you brought that up, and I think especially as we're talking as Black men, it's something that's been like taboo. I'm not going to go get anybody to talk to, or it even could be a pastor or just somebody. But we have to have somebody in our lives that we can talk to, or and be able to have the trust that it's not going to get all out there. Like when I think of where I see Black men meeting all the time, or men meeting all the time, is at the barbershop, right? But you're not going to share stuff at the barbershop, because it's going to be all over town as soon as you do. So especially if you got stuff going on with your spouse or your wife, you talk about that at the barbershop, then everybody know. Well, maybe kind of talk about what you just said, or Mr. Yu, and being able to express ourselves with other folks.
Yeah, I think one of the reasons why, and I'm not here to pitch my show on your show, man. It just one of the reasons why we do the men's roundtable. And I don't know why Dr. B hasn't been on there yet. I guess the man is just too busy to join the panel. I don't know what's going on with this guy.
Y'all gotta invite me.
Invite you. You've been invited from the first episode.
Oh,
but,
cool.
I'll go ahead and make a note to go ahead and invite you once again. I'll re-invite you.
Please do. I'm sorry. I will be on.
No worries. I want you there. One of the reasons why make a note about that for real. But one of the reasons why we do that is because we hear the plight of Black and brown men. It's not even a racial thing, honestly. I'm hearing from men across the world who have the same struggle that can't talk about certain things, and it's going to be heavy-handed coming from me because I'm a coach. But I realize the power of coaching, and there's always a confidentiality embedded in it, especially when it's done right. But man, we all need to have somebody to talk to like that. If you don't think you can do coaching, or you don't want to pay for coaching, different conversation altogether. But we need to have somebody who stands in that kind of capacity, who we can talk to. And the barbershop really isn't it. As a matter of fact, your blood brother is probably not it either, because they know you for where you were, and they love you where you are, not where you need to be a lot of the time. So you can't. So mom and dad, they can't be your coach and your mentor. They just, again, they love you where you are, not where you need to be. You know what I'm saying? And somebody's going to pull you up and challenge you and say, you know what, this place that you're at right now is limiting. It's depleting you, and it's depleting your destiny. This is not where you can be able to stay. So getting a coach and a mentor, I'm not going to say go on coachormentor.com, because the results may not be very pleasing, but you need to have somebody who stands in that kind of capacity. So that's why we do what we do, because that's why I put myself out there the way I do, because I know that there's somebody standing on the bridge saying, you know what, I don't have anybody else in my life. Nobody's going to miss me when I'm gone. And, so that's why we do what we do, man. But it's really a big thing. Hope I answered the question, man. It just.
Oh, yeah, you did. You
did. Sorry.
Lou, you can go ahead and expand on the whole
process. Yeah, one of the things that I recognize, and the reason we struggle with it so much, is because that word vulnerability gets tossed around, but we don't like it, quite frankly, especially as men. We just don't like being vulnerable because the definition of it is actually scary, right? And like in the military terms, the thing we talk about when we mention vulnerability, we talk about exploiting said vulnerability. And we also know that by being vulnerable, there are people out there that will truly exploit our vulnerability. And so that's why I think a lot of times we just sort of, we decide, it's a better survival instinct to just not be vulnerable, not open up. But I think that's why it's important, because one thing that Mr. Yu is talking about is you have to have that person that you can open up to and be vulnerable with. And that's why I believe that strategic vulnerability is the key. And I like to talk about the analogy with sports. And there's football on tonight, so I appreciate everybody's tuning in. It's a good football playing. But I talk about the sports when it's talking about vulnerability. When you look at an offensive line, for example, when you look at that, the coach is not going to go out there at a press conference before the game and say, "Hey guys, I want you to know that Lou number 55 is going to be my weak spot on my offensive line." He's not going to say that. But in the closed room, he's going to talk about, hey, if Lou's the weak spot, he's our vulnerable spot. So now we're going to adjust the scheme to make sure that we can help him out and support him and get the team enough time, the quarterback enough time to throw the ball. And that's the same thing we're doing as when we're trying to share our vulnerabilities. We're doing it strategically, so that way we can find and expose the gaps that we do have, so that people that we trust, to include counselors, can help us fill those gaps and help us to grow and develop. And I really think that's what it's all about. It's not, you're not sharing and being vulnerable for the sake of being vulnerable. You're not going on Instagram, Facebook Live, and just crying to say that I'm a vulnerable man. And that's not what it's all about. It's about being strategic in the way you share and the people you share it with, so that they can help support you in your weakest moments. And I truly believe that if we start looking at being vulnerable in that manner and seeking the help that we need, I think that's when we truly can grow. And to be honest with you, we'll be more complete when we learn how to do it that way.
It's good.
Yeah. And thank you for sharing. When I think of even some of the vulnerabilities, one of the things that we don't talk about a lot are two things that don't, is our health. We don't talk about our health. We try to, unless you can physically see it on somebody. And then the other thing that sometimes we that, especially in the culture that we're in, is about money and finances. And because the harder it is, or the more that you're struggling, the more you probably need to talk to somebody. But it's the one thing that you have this shame. And I think shame can be one of the most devastating emotions that's there. Is, hey, I know there's some people who can help me. And your whole financial situation obviously doesn't need to be broadcast out to the whole world. But at the same time, I can remember some times when, back in the day when we had checks, and we, and I would go, I had, all my kids, and, I was a teacher, and I was getting paid once a month, and there was way more money than there was month. And I would go to Costco, and I would poke holes in the numbers at the bottom of the checks, just so it wouldn't go through the scanner right, and it would take the bank longer to process it so I could get paid. And I was thinking, like, all those things that I did, and how crazy that was. If I could have went and talked to somebody and said, wait a minute, how do I budget? I don't know what a budget is. Or how do I, with the credit card, or how do I use credit, or something like that. We need to have that certain person that, and I'm not saying have a financial planner come over and charge you for a whole bunch of stuff either. I'm just saying, who do we admire? Who do we see? Who do we want to mentor us? And then how do we start talking about some of those things like money, or our health, or my blood pressure's high, or something like that? Is there something that you guys have figured out, or just found that certain person that you're able to talk to about some of those things that seem to be harder to talk about?
Well, the first thing I'll say is that shame, that's in any category. I think that we created that in our society. And I say we, I'm talking about leaders. So that embarrassment, it's really a scare tactic to get somebody to do what you want them to do. It's manipulation at its finest. And I think that's Brene Brown talks about in her book, Daring Greatly. It talks about why it's important not to be a shameful leader, one who points shame at people and makes them embarrassed to do anything. And I think that's really one of the hardest things that we do. I was looking at Scott Cheney there. That's my boy right there.
All right,
came all the way from Georgia. Shout out to him. He's a good guy. But anyway, anytime we have that shame and we try to be shameful leaders, we're just trying to embarrass somebody. and really make them feel bad about themselves. And so when I come back, what I will come back and say is that the people you could talk to are usually people who aren't using that negative manipulation to try to get you to do something. They're not the people who, and I hate to say it, they're not in organizations. I won't call out any organizations that tell you that you better give, and if you don't give, then you probably won't be receive, and all these other things that are being told. And quite frankly, I think that creates so much of a distance between us, the people who are trying to do better, and then the other people who are just like, okay, well, I need this from you and trying to pull from you. And so I think that's really what it is. If we could find a way as leaders, as coaches, as mentors to stop trying to shame people into submission and shame people into doing better, I think then you could be the person they come to talk to. And honestly, you could teach them as a financial manager or whatever your position is of authority. You can actually teach them and mentor them and guide them to be a better person. Hopefully I answered your question, but I just think that's where we as society have leaned more towards. It's just easier to manipulate somebody when you just embarrass them and shame them into saying that, hey, you're poking holes in your check. That's because you suck in managing finances. Or you could teach them how to manage finances, maybe influence the schools and actually encourage financial management to be a part of the curriculum. That's really what it looks like to be a better leader. And I think that's sometimes what we lose.
Yeah, absolutely. Your thoughts, Mr. Yu?
I might have missed one question, so I don't want to overstep. But when you're talking about leadership and manipulation, gosh, I have so many stories of this. I I met this person who is in the same genre as I am as it pertains to coaching. Loved their work. When I first saw it, I'm like, man, this is the kind of stuff that fused me. I'm going to listen to this person's work, right? So I was doing that, and they offered a program, and this might be a dichotomy, but they offered a program that people can come in and kind of glean from their coaching, from the inner workings of their coaching style, whatever it is. I'm like, okay, well, I love the podcast, so I don't see any problem with that, and it wasn't any charge for it. I'm like, I don't really have a whole lot to lose, except an hour of my time a day for 5 days. So I went ahead and got in the program, and I discovered something. The person that I was following their work and loving the conversation and the dialogue they were having with other coaches and how he was so encouraging and so enlightening, kind of had a little bit of a browbeating feel to it. I'm like, where'd this come from? Because I don't hear this on your shows. Where'd this come from? And it was heavy-handed. I think some of it was cultural. I won't go much further than that. But I feel like the person was just like, kind of just browbeating you and kind of making you feel guilty for not doing things a certain way. This is why you don't have these kind of results like I have. I'm like, wow. And I think it wasn't from that I learned anything. I knew I couldn't do that. That's what I learned. So I distanced myself from that because I can't have that kind of stuff feeding me. But what I learned, even prior to that, but it was reinforced then, is that the world at large is looking for authenticity. That's why I don't care what the organization is. I don't care what the person is doing. Anybody that goes there just to peek their head in for a visit, they're looking for authenticity in whatever is going on. I don't care if it's finance. I don't care if it's ministry. I don't care if it's community organization. I don't care if it's whatever it is, podcasting. People are looking for authenticity. And I just feel like even though it doesn't seem to be a short-term fit for a lot of people because it doesn't produce results and dividends fast enough, I believe that if you stay authentic, you have more than enough of what you need in life. There was a quote that I always quote by Zig Ziglar. I'm sure Dr. B's heard me quoted. Lou, you might have heard me quoted on the round table before. But his quote was so good. He said, if you help other people get what they want in life, you get what you want in life.
You get what you want.
Try to live by that and just be authentic and say, you know what? If I was in their shoes, which I often do, I flip it in my own mind. What would I say to myself if I was on the other side of this? What do I want to hear? What do I not want to hear? And I give that because I believe in the golden rule. So for me as a leader, I'm going out of my way to make sure that I'm authentic even if I'm harsh in Brooklyn style, which I've been that a lot of times. At least I'm going to be honest about it. I'm not going to pretend. So you know what? I'm from some place close in the world. I'm gonna be who I am. So I hope that helps answer the question because
Oh yeah, yeah. No, it's good. One of the things that I think about often, and I think about connection, and we're talking about people that communicate you, or people that that we are don't. Vulnerability scares us because we don't know the people that may be receiving it. So one of the things that I think about this year, and I hope you guys, I know you guys are too, is where I'm at in life right now is based on my community that I've surrounded myself with, the 4 or 5 people that are, closest to me. That's just where we're at. And if I'm wanting to grow this year, I've understood or been told, and through life is you need to find new connections. You need to find new people that you're associating with, that you can be in alignment with, that can help you get to the next level. Well, that's so easy to say. Hey, I need to find new associations, but where do you go find new associations? Where do you go find people that, if you're here and they're here and you want to step up to where they're at, they're not going to come to your house and knock on your door and say, sir, I was just love to mentor you today because I feel that I'm a little bit above you and then I will be able to help you. That doesn't happen. So for a lot of people, I think they get stuck in this whole, okay, yeah, I need new associations, but I don't even know where to go. So how are you guys, I guess through strategic planning and planning, that you're going to lift and raise who you are based on some of new associations that you'll have this year?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I'll tell you the way I've connected with people. Well, I'll start by saying I actually did have a guy walked up to me and say, "Yes, I'll be your mentor." But that's just his personality. He's Army. And I don't hold that against him. Again, I shout out to the Marine Corps. But yeah, he walked up to me and said, "Yeah, I'll be your mentor." And I sort of laughed, and that's how our relationship started. He's a phenomenal guy. But really, all the mentors I've had, majority of mentors I had, you just walk up and ask them. Right? It's like any other relationship. I think sometimes, perhaps our swiping left or swiping right, whatever the dating apps do now, I think maybe that's caused us to not know how to build relationships. If you want to be in the room with people that you aspire to be like, go get in the room with people you aspire to be like. Send them emails, connect with them on LinkedIn, connect with them on Facebook. There's so many options. Send them messages. You're gonna get no's. I mean, I can't even count the amount of no's I've gotten or no responses. But I also can point to quite a few yeses that I've gotten. But you got to pitch, and I think that's what a lot of people fail to do. They always say that they want to connect with somebody, they want to come up. I want to be this, I want to do this. And then the next question I ask, okay, who have you pitched? Who have you talked to, and how many people have you talked to? And they say, well, I called a guy last month, and they didn't say. And I was like, okay, well, just so you know, to put in perspective, I pitched 15 people this week, right? And I talked to 15 people this week that I wanted to connect with. So until you start trying to put up numbers like that, then don't come to me and tell me that you're trying, right? You just try to find, there's billions of people on this earth. And if you're not reaching out using the powerful tools we have now to try to connect with them, then I challenge you to do that, and that's not me trying to shame people into or manipulate people into submission like we just talked about. But that's me just saying that it is a lot easier than I think we make it at times. It's just starting a relationship the same way we would have started a relationship before social media or Tinder or Hitch or Bumblebee or whatever else is out there. Before all those things started, I just made some of those up, I think. I don't know if it's called Bumblebee. But before all that stuff started, we actually had to talk to humans in order to get humans to work with us. And I think that's what we need to go back to.
Yeah, I so agree. And that's literally why I created Becoming the Person Universe. And you can go to it at becomingtheperson.com, but it's so we can be in community where you can see the people who are there, go, wait a minute, I read his bio, I see him. Let me set up a virtual coffee so that I can do 15 minutes. Not so that you can say, I want to pitch you on something that I'm selling. That's not the reason for the virtual coffee. The reason for the virtual coffee is say, how can I serve you, or how can I learn from you? Because I might be able to be a better person as a result of it. And so it's so important that, my goal is every week to find 5 to 10 new people that I'm just networking with. I don't know if they're going to be a fit, but I know that my own ability to grow and to be better is going to come from people that I probably don't know yet and aren't aware with. And so that is so important. And I can say over probably the last 10 to 15 years, I have a pretty big network of folks that I can go on my phone and I can look up and I can, and I'm not getting business cards because I've actually made a connection with, and whatever that is, to be able to do that. Mr. Yu, I'd love to hear what your thoughts are on making connections in this new year, and how you plan strategically to do it. Not just I hope that somebody shows up at my house and knocks on my door. It has to be my friend.
Don't come knocking on my door unannounced.
Yeah, that sounds like old rude New Yorker. I'm sick of New York.
Things might not go well for you in the aftermath.
Oh my God.
Get the business straight before you come around here knocking like that. But just kidding. Kind of. I think I'm a big believer in maintaining an attitude of a seeker.
Mm-hmm.
I know, and I think part of that has a sense of desperation to it, but it's desperation in a good way. I know people, like, for example, I used to be a recruiter back in the day, right around the time when COVID hit, lost my government job. I was doing things I never wanted to do, and recruiting was one of them. And had these kids that had a $9 an hour mindset and work ethic, but they wanted $25 an hour because they had 4 kids. Is that my fault? You know what I'm saying? But anyways, they would come to my office. I would close the door, and they would tell me this story about how they think they deserve it. And I always felt like if you want to have a change in your trajectory financially, your financial portfolio, you can't hang around Boo and Bebe and them and try to get what you are looking to have. You got to change your environment. And I'm not saying that there's easy answers out here. I don't know if people can find the DPU community just by going online and doing a Google search. I don't really know. That's not how I found you. I found you because I was in connection with you in a community of people who do what we do, and we found value in each other, and something happened. So, kind of to tail into what Lou was saying, you know what I'm saying? You could be in community environments right now. If you're in your mom's basement on the couch eating hot Cheetos, you ain't gonna meet nobody down there. But if you are making an attempt to network and be around people, you can find people who can be mentors to you, because somebody could be younger than you and mentor you. You could be older than you and mentor you. It depends on their experience, what kind of wisdom they have. You can find help for a lot of things as long as you get up off the couch and get around some people. So to me, I mean, I don't have a great answer for this. I don't know how you find communities like ours that we're in 2 or 3 that we're blessed to be in, because we put ourselves out there, we connected, we had conversations, we shook some hands, met some people, maybe kissed some babies, whatever we did. And guess what? Now we're in community together, and it's thriving and it's beautiful. So you kind of got to get out of your comfort zone and keep the seeker mentality. That's how I found this, was seeker mentality. I had no real reason to do this except that what you were doing was valid, Dr. B. And I said, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and link up with this. You asked me some questions. You want to know if I want to do some things? I said, yeah, absolutely. And that's what we did. So did that make sense? Because you guys already kind of said some of the same stuff already. I would just
that is perfect. I think of, like, this goal setting workshop that I'm doing next week, where it's powered by AI, and I've gotten speakers and people that are coming in, and if something you guys want to check out, it's becomingthroughaction.live. And I'll put it in the comments or something like that, but it's a place where people can come and go, well, okay, am I being intentional about what my life looks like? I mean, it's so easy to go write a goal of things that I can't control. So let's say, hey, I want to have 100,000 subscribers on this show, right? I have zero control. All I have control is the activity. And then people get upset that they're not hitting the goals and stuff that they set because they're not realistic. I think realistic is a terrible word to use, so I probably shouldn't use it. But they're not thinking about what is it that I can do every single day to make my life better. And then they turn on to, well, I guess I can't. So now I'm going to go and entertain myself by watching somebody else succeed. instead of, taking the time. And if you guys, this will probably be the last question we ask, is like, what do you do when you're talking to other folks that are utilizing other means of entertainment? And I'm not saying entertainment's bad, but that's their excuse, or they're making excuses why they can't succeed. And how are you helping them kind of see that maybe if you change a few little things by being intentional or strategic about your life, that it can be way different?
Yeah. So the first thing I always tell people is take 7 days to write down what you're doing, and that's the first thing I tell them. You don't have to change anything; just literally pull out. Like I told you before we started recording, I have my notebook and pen right here, and I'm always taking notes. I'm always writing and trying to better myself. And I always recommend that people do the same. So take about 7 days and just write down your schedule. What are you doing every hour and hour? Use your phone or whatever you have to do. Just write it down and try to record it. And then the next thing you do, I want you to pull out your list of goals and priorities. And I want to know that if what you're doing for the last 7 days matches your list of gifts and priorities, or excuse me, goals and priorities. And if it doesn't match it, then now we know what needs to change. We know that you set goals. You've already, if you've been working with us, then you've already set micro goals and how to work towards achieving those goals. But then you look at your schedule for the last 7 days, and again, this just shows that you're not applying the things that you said that you need to do. And yes, when I tell people to set goals, they do have to be realistic. And that's one of the first things that we talk about in business classes. Like your goals have to be realistic; they have to be achievable. And so, if you just set a goal that's a little arbitrary and maybe vain, like I want 100,000 subscribers, that's fine. Okay, what's the plan to get there? And if we're going to work a plan to get there, cool. Are you willing to talk to 100,000 people? Are you willing to talk to do lives and try to get one more person to subscribe to your channel? What is your plan? And if you truly want to have that, you truly want to achieve that, then are you doing the things that you need to do according to your schedule that you just wrote for the last 7 days? Are you doing the things that you need to do to achieve that goal? And in many cases, when I talk to people, and when I did it myself, even I recognized the answer was no. I was not even close. In fact, a lot of times we think we're closer than we are until we actually write that schedule down, and then we realize that we dedicated way more time to entertainment and things that we didn't necessarily think we needed to do to achieve our goals. We just did it. And so that's something to think about as we're trying to achieve our goals. And the things that I talk to people about is that, make your schedule and ensure that your schedule matches your priorities and your priorities match your goals.
Ooh, love it. Love it. Mr. Yu.
I can't come behind that.
I'm with you.
I totally agree with everything that Lou said. I mean, that's really it.
That was right on. Yeah.
Because we like we talk about this kind of stuff constantly in other communities that I'm a part of. It's like, man, people talk about their goals, and you look at the elbow grease and the work ethic, and it never seems to match. Like we were saying a little while ago, people want to have they want to have certain things, but they don't want to do these things and put it into action. And that's really where rubber meets the road. Really, in 2026, I just hope that people are starting to catch that vision and say, you know what? I'm not saying grind and hustle, because those are words I used to use back home, and they have a negative connotation now. So I'm trying to get that out of my vernacular. But we got to put a little work in it. So, I mean, faith without works is dead. We got to do some stuff. We can't just sit back and say, you know what, hit me with that pot of gold, God, from heaven. We got to go ahead and do some work. So, I'm excited about what that looks like. I hope you are too. People who are watching and listening. You got some guys here that know what they're doing. They got some wisdom on them, and they can potentially help you, man. So don't leave off of this and get out of the chat, and don't touch these guys and allow them a chance to speak into your life and help you, man, because they got the good stuff. So,
well, thank you guys. This has been, oh my gosh, it's been a fun conversation tonight, and I want to come back and I want to kind of talk about alignment. And for those of you who may, this is the first time you've been on, we're doing this every Thursday night. I'd love to have you guys even get on and be part of the panel and the group, because we're just sitting down the fire and we're talking about things that can change our lives. And so, is there, with you guys, is there any last closing thoughts that you guys would like to share with the folks that have joined us tonight and the folks that are going to watch this, at a different time as part of the recording? And we'll kind of end with that after you guys are done. And I can't wait to see you guys on the next one.
Yeah, I'll just let Mr. U go first, so that way I know he's gonna clean up, and I'll just say bye.
No, I just want to say thank you to all the commenters. Love the comments. Thanks for joining us tonight. Dr. B, the real deal. So is Lou. Stay tuned. A lot more to come, man. So thank you guys.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I can't echo that. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. It's been fun. Thanks, Dr. B, for having me. Mr. U, always a pleasure.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, buddy. Thank you, man.
And again, thank you guys. Please, at the free workshop on the 17th, we are going to just be discussing if you've set some goals or you have some goals, you're not sure how to get them. We're going to have some fun doing it. I'm going to have prizes, about 10 grand worth of prizes that are going to go out there. So if you have some time on that day, I would love to have you guys there. And we'll look forward to talking. Don't forget, you are God's greatest gift. He loves you if you allow him to. You are also an answer to somebody else's prayer. And so as you go out there and you're trying to think you're not enough, I promise that you are, because God is going to put you in front of somebody that you are the answer to their prayer. So you guys have an amazing, incredible day, and we will talk to you guys on the next one. See you later.